Hello to everyone. I'm Olivier Lafitte. I'm a full professor of applied mathematics at Paris North University, University of Paris 13, which is one of the Paris universities. I studied before in the higher system of education of France in the Polytechnic School and in the Polytechnic French School of Mines in Paris. And I'm now at the head of a graduate school of applied mathematics in Paris. In fact, I worked during 20 years for problems linked with the industrial world, especially with the Atomic Energy Commission, which is a French organism which is mixing research and industry about atomic energy, civil and military. And during these works, I encountered a model where I needed some papers of a mathematician called Evans, who worked in the 70s in Paris, in United States. So I go back. During this work at in the industrial world, I encountered 4 papers of a mathematician, of an American mathematician called Evans. And this mathematician used tools that I needed for my studies, and these tools were based on the study of the propagation of the nerve influx in a giant squid axon. And giant squid axon, it doesn't mean that it's the giant axon of a squid, but it's a giant squid and its axon. Its axon means that there is only one axon that transfers the information from one end to the other end of this squid. And when I looked at this paper, he referred to a paper of 2 English biologists, Hodgkin and Huxley, who studied during 30 years with experiments, lab experiments, in vivo experiments about what was going on in a squid axon. They published their work in 1952. They were awarded the Nobel Prize for this work. It's a model on the propagation of the nerve influx, which 65 years later is still in use and has not been contradicted for the moment. Some person gave some precisions of this model, but that's all. So that seems to be a quite robust model. And this model based itself on the exchange of ions between the inside and the outside of the axon. And the force which drives this is the electrical force. And that led me to first style of study of what was going on in biology. And my question was at this time, can biology be explained by very simple arguments of physics? And then I met haphazardly Dr. Laurent Schwartz while walking in the mountains between France and Italy. And we discussed together, and that was an idea that pleased him a lot, to try to explain all biological processes by very simple items of physics. And in fact, that's the same idea that's behind the fact that explaining all physical phenomena by only 4 fundamental interactions. When I studied with Laurent the axon, we realized that the muscular fibers acted the same, and then we guessed that all cells could be interacting together with electricity and potentials. And the fact that all cells interacted with electricity led us to the fact that we could derive a model which could explain growth and division of cells using only electrical phenomena. I'll try to describe this to you very quickly. First of all, the cell, after its division, contains ions. It begins to grow because water comes into the cell and nutriments go into the cell. So the volume of the cell grows, and the number of ions is the same. So the concentration of ions decreases. It's as a condensator, but it's the contrary of condensator. You just discharge it. One, the cell is too large, the concentration of the ions is too small, and so the ionic pumps open because the cell wants to get back some more ions inside. As the ionic pumps open, ions flow into the cell, and then the same phenomenon that was before between the cell and the outside occurs inside the cell, between the cell itself and the nucleus of the cell. And in this case, the membrane of the nucleus explodes, all the chromosomes deploy in the cell, and the calcium ions which are inside the nucleus just flow away to get back to the equilibrium inside the cell. And when you look at a photograph of a cell while it's in the process of dividing, you can see that the disposition of the chromosomes is exactly identical to the disposition of what is going on when you put some small bits of iron under a magnetic or electric field in a dipole. And in this case, that means that you have certainly the same phenomenon. And then the division of the cell can begin. And in this case, you can explain parts of the growth and division by only electrical phenomena. And that led me to the fact that maybe all biological phenomena are linked with very small physical forces, as electricity, as I told you, but also maybe as pressure, as forces, and so on. That was one example. That's a simple explanation of the complicated phenomena that I can understand that all these phenomena are complicated, but they are all linked together with the same basic items. Thank you.